Hey there, YouTube. Sorry I can't get this all in the shot, but it's kind of a gigantic thing. Um, Even in real life, it's quite big. So I'll try to get there as good as you can and explain as well as I can. If you want to know the motivations or how I did this, I'll put the video up here. It was kind of an interesting build, kind of a fun, interesting process. So anyway, I'm just kind of going through and completing some of these projects that I left hanging either because of monetary parts or just got demotivated reasons. So this is my my Predator 3 MP7s on a G36, and so it's got 3 lasers, 2 green, 1 red at the moment. But they do, they shine out like the Predator. And it shoots 3. These 3 shoot at the same time, and then this G36 is unmodified. So it just kind of comes on and off here. All that was explained in the previous video, as well as I got some of these shorty magazines. They're really low cap, but I think they call them mid cap. But they're by the MAG mag brand. They're pretty slick. I got some mid caps for these too, because this just works better because you can't wind all 3 at the same time. So you kind of have to have something that's either spring-loaded or battery powered. And as far as I know, they don't make any kind of drum for these. But and then I have the short one here for display, but I also like to put it on your wherever your arm is going to be. So if you're right-handed, it would be in this one. If you put the short one in this one, you don't have to have it like a glove. Try to jam your hand in there; it just naturally fits on there. And it's kind of M203 like, but your hand does kind of fit onto it normally. So I have 3 things I need to address with this setup. Number 1 is the battery. Still haven't found a place for both the battery for the G36 and this to go. I was going to try to jam them both in the handguard, but I'm not sure that that's a possibility. I tried to just get one in there and it didn't work. So, even just getting one in a regular G36 is kind of a pain in the butt. So that's number 1. Number 2 is I need to fabricate this pin. I've been talking and thinking about it the whole time. I'm sure I mentioned it 3 or 4 times in the other series of videos. I have 3 videos on it. The second one is probably my favorite because it shows shooting as well as some of the final assembly, so I'll put that one up here too. The third one is just some slow motion footage of me shooting it. You can look that one up yourself. But anyway, so that was number 2, this pin. Number 3 is the safeties on these things, and the semi-auto, full auto on these things are a pain in the butt. They have they're gritty and they're kind of cheesy cheap. And since I used the semi-auto for getting this thing all set up, making sure everything worked right, I don't think I need it now. So I think I'm going to go ahead and disable it just for functionality's sake. The safety I kind of want to leave on there for safety reasons, but if I have to take that off, I will too. There's some goofiness inside the gearbox, and I'll grab one of those out here and we'll take a look at it, because I'm going to have to do that in order to make sure that I've disabled everything properly. But this thing works really good. I really would like to recommend that you go back and look at the build videos if you have any questions, because I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. But the critical things here are that, I removed all the trigger mechanisms and everything from these side ones. They're just basically bolted on here in a kind of a crafty way, so that there's no exposed fasteners or anything. Yeah, like I said, take a look at the other video because I go into great detail on how this is all done. So I need to get at this guy down here, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to just work on a different one first, because this is kind of a pain in the butt to get into. It's all wired together and bolted in. You can see it down in there. I try to do a professional job when I do this stuff, even though you can see some of my wiring plugs and harnesses, just because I hadn't gotten all that perfected yet. But now that it's working, might go ahead and go back and do that. But that's really not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video are the 3 things that I mentioned. The semi-auto, there's a problem with it, the pin, and then the batteries. The batteries is going to be the tough one. That one might not be addressed on this episode. So if I can just get those other 2 things done, I think I'll call it a victory for this video. Before I get too far, I have a P.O. box, so if you guys want to send me your your broken airsoft or something you want me to look at. It's a one-way ticket, so it's kind of like a fan mail thing. So, but I do have a PO box if you want to send it to me. If you want to send me your junk to take a look at. Anyway, quick plug for my PO box. So here's what I have in mind. I've got a thing with kind of a small shoulder here, and then it goes, this is the pin part, and then this part is going to have a spring-loaded detent inside of it, you know, something like that, so that you can squeeze it. So you can squeeze one end of it inside of here. This other side will be kind of affixed to this. I don't know. We'll have to see. I've got it figured out in my head, I think. But now that I'm looking at it, there might be some issues with that design. I'm gonna go grab another one of these so that we can take a look at it. So hold on while I do that. Okay, so we've got this one apart. Again, I have a video on doing all this if you need to. There's a couple tricks involved, so I'll leave that to its own video. So here's our semi-auto selector here. You can see that it's pushing this arm up and down. And so it's pushing this up and down. So we can get a battery here and we can see what's going on. Grab it. Now if I remember correctly, this thing is set up semi-auto default. Let's see. Well, this one is set up locked up. Well, we can fix it. I've got my hole is already drilled in here. Reset this lever. See if we can't get her working again. Yes. And that's the thing right there. If you got to check out my other video, but if you drill a hole right here, you can reach in here and hit this reset lever. Just doesn't, the motor doesn't have enough torque to pull it back every time. I don't know what the deal is with it, but that's for a different episode. Anyway, so yeah, this thing's set up default in semi-auto. So that means I've either got to affect this stuff to keep it in full auto, or I've got to affect this lever in this body so that it stays into one position or the other, which would be easy enough to do. I could just glue it, and I might end up doing that, but there might be a little bit more elegant solution by just modifying or eliminating some of these components right here. So let's see, it needs to be like this, I believe. I think this needs to be up, and then you push this in. And that's how that works. So, what can I do here? I could just stick something in there. I can just insert something right here in between these two sliding surfaces. Maybe that's what I'll do. Is that going to jam the selector? I guess we'll find out. I'll try that first. That seems like the easiest. I'll just stick a piece of plastic in here and see if that, it should make it work just fine. So we'll try that. And literally that's all you have to do. I just stuck this piece of wire in there that I had laying around, and it just, so that works. So all you gotta do is stick something in there. That's easy enough to do. There's a spring on this side. See, ooh, maybe that's a smarter way to do it. So what I'm gonna do, I just thought of this, of course. Of course, you're just discovering this stuff along with me now. So I'm just gonna drill a hole through this side, and I'm gonna jam a screw in there. See that? If I just jam a screw in there, it'll hold that thing down. And as long as it holds that thing down, the thing full autos. So just to verify. Yep. So that's what we'll do. So if you want a full auto only these things, Now that's probably going to mess up this, but what I'll do is I'll just cut this arm off right here. I don't need it anymore. So I'll cut that arm off, I'll drill a hole, I'll put that screw in there, and I'll be right back. Okay, well that was quick and easy. So you can see on this side now it's being held down because I ran a screw through this side. So it full autos now, and that's all it does. The safety is a trigger block safety here, so there's nothing to worry about there. It's not going to cause any issues. So I did not trim this off of here yet because I kind of wanted to see just how it's going to work. Got the worst camera angle here to do this. So let's see if I can hold this thing together. Let's see if this will work. That appears to work all just fine. What happens if I try to flip the selector switch though? Okay, it pivots out of the way, looks like. So that's not going to be an issue. So I can just leave that alone. So when I take this thing apart, which is not fun, let me tell you, it's not fun. It's just not fun. That's why I'm doing all this on this one. Really, all I have to do is run this screw in here, and that'll be that on that. So that's that problem solved. And all I have to do to make this back the way it was is take the screw out. So that's kind of convenient also. Okay, so I put this one back together just for S's and G's. It full autos only. Safety works. And there's no weirdness to it. You can semi-auto it with your finger. But if you, the switch does not. But it's cool that I don't have to modify any of the, I don't have to cut the lever off or anything, it just works. So, safety works. So we got, still have some safe mode, but it's full auto only now. Which in this situation is pretty much the only reason you're going to use it. You know, you're not sniping with it. It shoots 3 at a time. So it's way more effective to just all 3 of them. So that leaves just the, oh, one thing is that the screw head there was a little bit of assembly interference. I mean, you can see it just went back together anyway, but it would have went back together a lot more smoothly, and probably this trigger would be a little bit smoother if I had used a headless screw, so like a set screw, or just anything really. A piece of wire probably would work, just enough to jam that thing down. Just a little perspective of what we're looking at here from the receiving end. It's just, it's impossible to capture on camera just kind of how ludicrous this thing is. So, it's a quick shot. Yeah, we ain't doing that. So, I can just drill a hole. I can extend this hole on here back. I'll drill a hole and I'll run the pin all the way through from the outside, and I'll just paint it black so that it looks like part of the outside of this one. There's really nothing to be damaged by drilling around up here. So I just need to make sure that I get the hole fairly where I want it, and I just reached one of these basically to confirm it. So I took one of these and I reached it through this hole on the inside and just made sure that it aligned with where I'm going to drill the hole on the outside, which is right behind, unfortunately, this. It'll keep me moving, so that's what I'm going to do, because the whole spring-loaded thing, that would be great, but that's going to be a lot of resources for something you're never even going to see. So this one you will see, unfortunately, but it'll be a lot quicker solution. And that way I'll just make a long pin that runs all the way to the outside out here, because I thought about having it just being a hole and pushing the pin through, but then it's going to be a pain in the butt trying to get it back out. I want it to be as, you know, quickly detachable as possible, so I might even make it kind of like a little knurled handle, because I can make it whatever I want, because I'm going to have to make it anyway. So I have this other one that I'll probably use as kind of a rough template. I'll grab it real quick. So this was the first one that I made, and I'm happy with it in so much that it will never fall out with this, you know, extra piece of wire, and it works really well. This was actually the original one for this, but this pin was not with it. I just put it with it because now it doesn't fit on here. But this is kind of going to be, I think, similar to what the design is going to be. So it'll just run from the outside here. Be able to pull it off. It won't have the wire. These pins fall out all the time, so this was actually a pretty handy little modification. So go ahead and steal it if you want to, but that's definitely a G36 savvy invention on my part. Anyway, so we need one of those, and we need a hole right here. So that's what I'll be working on now. So there we have our pilot hole. Took two, but happy with that. Wish I would have got it right the first time, but diameter of the hole should take care of the problem. So we'll go ahead and drill that through, get it ready for the pin. Okay, partial success. So just need a pin now that's long enough to span across and stick out just a little bit on the other side. And that, my friends, is how you end up with a 3-inch long G36 handguard pin. Let's get it on the gun, see what it looks like. So not bad. I'd say that's effectively attached. That's not going anywhere. Definitely not. That's a tight fit. 230 is what I turned that, and that's in Americans. So kind of a slick little setup, really, if I do say so myself. Kind of looks like a little charging handle, even though it isn't. And of course, my little snafu with the double hole got covered up nicely. If I wanted to, I could grind a little relief in here so it would fit a little closer to there, which I may do or not. I'd say that's pretty well attached though, so that's a good solution for the one. I have to paint it black, get the airbrush out, which leads me to the next question: what should I paint it? I kind of just want to leave it black though. It looks pretty wicked black. If I painted it white though, it would look just ginormous, which would be cool, like a snow camo, but it doesn't really fit with the Predator theme. And pretty much takes care of that. So we've got the full auto thing figured out. We've got the pin figured out. Last thing to do is the battery. So I'm going to have to try to hunt up that POS PEQ box that came with that M14. Another video you should check out if you haven't seen. The Cyma M14 that I got out of a mystery box that I Flecktarn camoed. There's some pretty good videos back there if you're just new to the channel. You might want to take a quick trip around my other uploads and see what I've got there. So there it is for now. Another couple things done. I'm going to hunt up that PEQ box, like I said. So we'll just keep on updating you as time goes on. This wiring's a problem. I want to definitely keep all that hidden away. So I'll keep you updated as I keep working on things. This is glued in place, does nothing now. So anyway, with that, I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Man, oh man.